Hello my dear students. So we have already done the part 1 of the system of 2 degree of freedom, in which we have studied some basic concept of second degree of freedom system, in which we have calculated the frequency equation for the second degree of freedom system, in which we also have find some mode shape and frequency ratio for this. So moving further, we have seen this, and second part we have calculated frequency ratio and two frequencies for the two modes of the motion, in which we have seen that at first frequency mode the amplitude will be like this. The center mass will be at a high position, and other second mass is the at higher position, but at a different second frequency, the one mass is moving. If the first mass is moving rightward, then this mass will be moving leftward, because the amplitude ratio is -1. And in the previous question, previous frequency, the ratio is +1, so the amplitude is in the same direction. So now we are going to see how these equation can be written in the matrix forms. So just we are taking the same example in which two masses are there, m1 and m2, and are connected with the k1, k and k2. Okay, so if we provide a disturbance to m1 and m2 by x1 and x2, so these will vibrate with this equation: x1 equals to a1 sine omega t plus phi, and x2 equals to a2 sine omega t plus phi. If both are different, then phi can be different, and these omega is also can be different. So at omega 1 and omega 2, we can write the matrix form, which may equal to x1 and x2. This is the vertical matrix, and it can be written as a11 a21 sine omega 1 t plus phi 1 plus a12 a22. This is not divided. This is the vertical matrix: a12 a22 sine omega 2 t plus phi 2, where, so we have to remember this we have to see that this is very important. A11 is known as amplitude of x1 at frequency of omega equals to omega 1, and A21 is amplitude of x2 at frequency of omega 1. So omega 1, on omega 1 there are two frequencies, that is two amplitude, A11 and A21, and at omega 2 there are two amplitudes, A12 and A22. So what is this, how can it can be denoted? So we can from equation number 9, this equation, it is clear that the double subscript are applied to the amplitude first, is in which the first is coordinate and second is frequency. So if we write this in the form of axy, so x will denote that it is a coordinate, means coordinate means x1. This is for x1, or it can be for x2. This is the amplitude of x1, means amplitude of x1 means the amplitude of this mass. The maximum value of x1 is known as the maximum amplitude of this mass, m1. So this is the coordinate, and this is the frequency. At what frequency? This is the amplitude of x or any mass m, and this is the at what frequency? It will be the at y. In equation number 4 and 5, put omega equals to omega 1 and omega equals to omega 2. So where is the 4 and 5? We have done in the part 1. So we can see this equation a1, we have already derived this equation: a1 k plus k1 minus m1 omega square minus a2 k equals to 0, and a1 k plus a2 k2 plus k minus m2 omega square equals to 0. This is the fourth equation, and this is fifth equation. Just we are going to put these equations in equation number 9. So just we can see from omega 1 in equation number 4, putting the value of omega 1 in equation number 4. So we have the value of a11 plus multiplied by k plus k1 minus m1 omega 1 square minus a21 k equals to 0. Why it is written as this is a1, this is a2 at equation number 1. sorry, at frequency of 1. So this a1 will be become a11 because this one is denoted by the mass m1 1, and second subscript will be by frequency, and frequency is taking at omega 1. So this will become a1 become a11, a2 become a21. Okay, so a11 k plus k1 minus m1 omega 1 square minus a21 k equals to 0. So from that we can find the frequency ratio a11 upon a21, that will be this, and it can be assumed as a 1 upon alpha 1 because for the simplicity of the equations we can assume that 1 upon alpha 1, so that we cannot write this long term so many times. So just we replace this by 1 upon alpha 1. This equation is 10. We are continuing with the previous parts. Okay, so that's why this equation is 10. Next is similarly equation number 5, putting the value of omega equals to omega 2. So a1 equals to a12 and a2 becomes a22 because we are taking at frequency of 2. So the equation number 5, a1 will become a12 and a2 become a22. One is for mass m1 and this is for mass m2. So from this the frequency ratio will be a12 upon a22. So that will be equals to k upon k plus k1 minus m1 omega 2 square equals to 1 upon alpha 2. This can be assumed that 1 upon alpha 2, and this is the equation number 11. So from that we can from this equation, previous equation, like this equation, equation number 9, we can put all these values x1 x2 a11. From this we have seen that a11 upon a21 equals to 1 upon alpha 1. So a11 equals to, sorry, a21 equals to alpha 1 multiplied by a11. So a11, so alpha a12 equals to alpha 1 a11. So this is equals to sine multiplied by sine omega t plus phi 1 plus a12 upon a12 multiplied by alpha 2 from this equation number 11. Sine 1, this is from equation number 11, and this is from equation number 10. So whatever the value of a11, a12, a11 upon a21 equals to this is the constant value, this is the numerical value, and from the equation number 11 it is also a numerical value. So we can find out the ratio relation between the amplitudes. So we can draw the mode shapes of the system. At omega 1 a11 and a21, at omega 2 it is a12 a2. So now we are going to solve a numerical problem on this. So just we can see this is the k1 k2 and the mass is connected with these two springs. One is connected with the k1 and k2, but m2 is connected with the k2. But there is influence of this the disturbance of m2 is influenced by the disturbance of m1. So this is the second degree of freedom system. So it is given that m1 equals to 1.5, m2 equals to 0.8 kg, and k1 equals to k2 equals to 40 Newton per meter. Determine omega 1 and omega 2 and amplitude ratios. So this question has been asked in the previous exams. So we are going to solve this. So just firstly we are going to draw free body diagram of both the masses. Free body diagram of both the masses. So this is the first mass and this is the second mass, and we are going to provide a disturbance x1, and to this m2 is x2. So we are going to see what are the forces applying on this m1, assuming gravity is not there. So the first mass, the free body diagram for the first mass will be, so I am going to show ask what are the forces applying on this if we disturb this mass m1 by slightly downward and m2 by slightly downward, but it is always assumed to be x1 is greater than x2. Okay, m1 is x1 is greater than x2. In that case we are going to find the free body diagram. So if we stretch this downward, so this will be extended by x1 Okay, and if we put this m2 stationary, so this will be compressed by x1. But if we are saying that m2 is disturbed by x2 distance, so there is a deformation of the deformation of x1 minus x2 in second spring, but there is a deformation of x1 in this spring. So the spring force here will be k1 x1, but spring force of this spring will be provided by this spring will be x1 minus x2 multiplied by k2. Okay, so what is the forces applying on the m1? There is a spring force where upward, because spring is stretching like downward, so upward spring force is k1 x1, and this is compressing, so this spring also apply the force in the upward direction. Okay, this is spring, so what is the spring force? K2 multiplied by x1 minus x2. And what is the D'Alembert principle? D'Alembert principle is saying that if the mass is going downward, so the D'Alembert will be applied in the upward direction, so the D'Alembert will be m1 x1 double dot. So we can see this spring force for the first spring is upward direction, because this spring is going to be stretched down, so it will stretch the mass in the upward direction. So k1 x1, and this spring is compressed, so the spring force will apply on this m1 is upward direction, so this is also k1 x1 minus x2. Why? Because x1 minus x2, because this is compressed by x1 minus x2 only, because x1 is compressed and x2 by the elongate, so total is x1 minus x2, and D'Alembert is m1 x1 double dot. So total forces are in upward direction. So we are going to see the free body diagram of the second mass also. So this mass is going downward by x2, so the spring force, only the spring force is applying on this mass is going downward, so this spring will apply a force to the upward direction, because this spring is stretching upward to the mass m2. So m2 x2 double dot because of D'Alembert, because D'Alembert is the opposite to the motion of the mass. So m2 x2 double dot, and this spring force is k2 x2 minus x1. Okay, now we can see this is k2 x2 minus x1. Can we write this as k2 x1 minus x2, x1 minus x2, okay, x1 minus x2, but it will be downward. Why it is downward? So we can write this also, and we can write this also. If we are going to downward this will be x1 minus x2, and if we are going to write x2 minus x1, that will be upward direction. Why x1 minus x2 is downward? Because this spring is in compression, so in compression spring this mass will be pulled down by this spring, pulled down by this spring. So the spring force of this spring will be applied on m2 in the downward direction, because it is in compression. So the total spring force will be k2 x1 minus x2. Why x1 is assumed to be greater than x2, so the total force will be downward. So just I'm writing this in the opposite direction, means if we reverse the direction, so we have to change the sign. So if it is minus, so it will be at upward direction. So it is minus, so this will become x2 minus x1, so it is upward direction. Okay, I think you have understand this what is the sign convention for this motions. So now we are going to write the equilibrium equation for the both the masses. So we can see the total upward force is equals to total downward forces. So just we are going to write this m1 x1 double dot equals to minus k1 x1 plus k2 x2 minus x1. Okay, from this equation. So you just simplify this equation in the form of this m1 x1 double dot, and then we can write this total downward total upward force equals to 0. This m1 x1 double dot plus k1 x1 plus k2 x1 minus x2 equals to 0. And for this m2 x2 double dot plus k2 x2 minus x1 equals to 0. Okay, these all upward forces equals to 0, because downward forces is not there. So m2 x2 double dot plus k2 x2 minus x1 equals to 0, and there is also no downward forces, so total upward force equals to 0. This is equation number 1, and second is equation number 2. So we have done these equations. So assuming this that x1 equals to a1 sin omega t and x2 equals to a2 sin omega t, this is always we have to assume that the motion is sinusoidal and it is a vibrating motion. So putting these in the equation number 1 and 2, so we have the equation in the form of amplitudes. So we can find the amplitude ratio from this. So just I'm going to write in the matrix form. So we can write this in the this is multiply by this and this multiply by this. So we can write this the first term, second term multiply by the amplitudes, and this is the first term and this is the second term. This is the coefficients of the amplitude. This is the coefficient of a1 and this is the coefficient of a2, and here it is a2 and this is a1. So we can write this for a1, this is multiply by this, okay, minus k2 multiply by a2 equals to 0, and this minus k2 multiply by a1 plus k2 minus omega 2 omega square m2 multiply by a2 equals to 0. So simply we can write this in the form of matrix, and this matrix is known as the stiffness matrix because kx equals to 0 if there is a equilibrium condition. So the total stiffness multiplied by total displacement equals to 0. So from this we can find the amplitude ratio from the previous equation. So we can write this equation in the form of matrix. So a1 by a2 equals to this, and a1 by a2 for the second, it is k2 minus m2 omega square by k2. So the frequency equation. So stiffness equals to 0. Stiffness matrix must be 0. We have already done this. This is also known as the frequency equation. This must be equals to this determinant must be equals to 0. So k1 plus k2 minus m1 omega square in multiply by k2 m2 omega square minus k2 equals to 0, and from this we have find the quadratic equation in the form of omega square. So putting all the values, k1 equals to k2 equals to 40, m1 equals to 1.5 kg and m2 equals to 0.8 kg, will have the equation like this. This is the quadratic equation in omega square. Okay, from this we can find a equals to 1 because the omega square, the coefficient of omega square is 1, and the coefficient, sorry, omega to the power 4, the equation a is 1, and coefficient of omega square is minus 103.33, and the coefficient of 1 is this value 1333.33, that is C. So we are assuming that x equals to omega square, so omega की power 4 is equals to x square. So ax square plus bx plus c is the standard form of the quadratic equation, and the roots of the equation will be calculated from the quadratic formula. This is also known as the Sridharacharya equation. So omega 1 square equals to 88.172. So omega 1 equals to 9.39, and omega 2 square is 15.05. So omega 2 equals to 3.88 radian per second from this equation. Okay, so roots will give the value of omega square, and so putting these values in equation number in these equation in the amplitude ratio. So if we put omega equals to omega 1, this will become a1, and this will become a21, and this will become a12, and this will become a22. Okay, so from this we have find the value of omega 1 and omega 2, put all the values of k1, k2, m1 and omega 1. So we will have the ratio of a11 upon a21. So just putting these values, we will have 0.76, a11 upon a21 will be 0.76. so we can draw the mode shape. If this is 0.76, so this must be 1 because this is 1. If it is at upward, so it should be downward because this is negative ratio. Okay, and a12 equals to divided by a22 is 0.696, and it is positive. It is positive divided by 1. So the first mass will be at 0.696, so the second mass will be at 1. So we have done this numerical, and we have find the mode shape of the second degree of freedom system. Thank you. We will cover the next part in the next video lecture.